Hi everyone, this is Mike Saky with Remax, and I bring you another video regarding where we are with the market in the month of March and as the few months that we're going into the summer months. So let's start with this high-tech graphics that I created, because I want to do this video very quickly because I got a lot of questions since I put a post last week on LinkedIn, and the question actually, there were more than one question. There were questions about, what's going to happen with the market, why there are so many houses, sold above asking price, where we are with the market, what is the best idea in terms of as a buyers or sellers moving into the next couple of months in terms of buying and selling. And I thought it would be great to just go over this, presentation, more or less give you an understanding what happened in the month of March, which is a very good indicator for real estate agents and the industry to understand where we head in the next couple of months, and also give you a few ways of dealing with this market as a buyer and seller. So let's start with this, and if any questions at any time, please shoot me an email or just call me. I'd be more than glad to go over it with you. So this should give you an understanding where we were in the month of March, and I aggregated that information myself from MLS, so it's not really available to everyone because that information is lagging. It means right now you get information for February, not for March necessarily. So let's start with this and see where we are. So what we're looking at, we are looking at single families sold in the month of March, although the numbers for duets and townhouses and condos were almost identical, so I didn't bother to put it as part of this because this should be a good indicator for where the market is at this point. Now, City of Blackhawk, we had total of 9 units, 111% above asking price and 5 days. Let me just explain what these numbers are, because every page that we're going to go through on each city will have these numbers. However, you got to understand what they mean. This number here shows actually if the asking price on a property on average was $1 million, the property went $1,110,000. And that happened within 5 days. It means at day one, it's showed on Zillow, it went under contract in 5 days. Okay? Next city, Clayton. We got 14 units, 116%. It means 16% above ask on average on single families, and only 8 days on the market. This is the speed of the market. When you're talking to your realtor, when you're talking to your agent, you want to figure out, where's the momentum of the market. If this number is below 10, 12, it means this is a hyper seller market. Concord, we are looking at 1 or 3 units, which is actually a very big number for the units sold in 1 month. However, you still had 14% above asking price, and that actually shows, regardless of how big this number, meaning units sold, you still have 14% above average. And you have 18 days on that. Each contract went active in 11 days. City of Danville, total units sold 54, 18% above asking price, and 6 days on the market. Dublin. Dublin is a very beloved city, and the reason why I'm saying it because it's not a big community, it's a small. However, because it is right on 580 and 680 corridor, a lot of tech workers from Silicon Valley would love to live there, and that's why they throw extra money at it. I had the pleasure or the displeasure myself to dealing with a contract for a client, and we had to compete against 39 offers. 39 offers is very high, just to let you know. And we had to even go above the 20% here to get the property. Anyway, days on the market, only 9 days. So, Lafayette, total units sold, 30, 16% above ask, and 18 days on the market. Martinez, 30 units sold, 110%, and 8 days on the market. Moraga, 11 units, 22% above asking price, and 9 days on the market. Pleasant Hill, we got 27 units sold, 114% above ask, and 10 days on the market. We got Pleasanton, 48 units, 119% above, and 6 days on the market. We got Orinda with 13 units sold, 112% above, and 25 days on the market. Rushmore, 2 units sold, 5% above ask, and 22 days on the market. City of San Ramon, 59 units sold, 117% above, and 7 days on the market. Walnut Creek, we got 37 units sold, 117% above ask, and only 6 days on the market. Now, so this is the bulk of the cities that you do transaction in, and I aggregated that information for my clients, buyers and sellers. If there was any other city that you wanted, get information on or wasn't here, please let me know. I'll just shoot those numbers to you. So one of the other questions, or a few questions that I was asked in terms of what is the best strategy as a buyer and seller going into the next couple months in order to have the winning bid or have an edge. So I thought I'd just, not in details, just, go over certain criteria that is standard, straightforward, what gives you an edge when you go in as a buyer or seller who is selling and buying. Okay, I will go over that again. So let's start with buyers buying. When buyers buying right now, and again, what I'm telling you, it's been like this since the pandemic. And that information is available to you from any agent you ask. So if they're actively working, they know that information, they have it. So when you're buying a property right now, you have to look into, do I have an edge? What's my edge? What I can offer to make sure that I get the property and not the other 5 offers that going through a multiple offer situation with me as a competing offer. So, and there are a few things you can do, but the most important 2 items, I cannot emphasize that enough, is the fact that you have to work with a local agent. The reason being is this: when you work with local agents, seasoned local agents know other agents in the area, meaning the listing that you're looking at could possibly be actual listing from an agent that the agent you're working with knows. And that's money in the bank, because that's the extra edge you're looking for. These deals are made over relationships, and it's not because of signing a piece of paper as a contract. There are many, many moving parts as you go through a contract, and everybody wants to close the deal. It's not about just, putting a signature on a piece of paper. Everything has to work out well as you go through the contract, from moving parts with provisions to your lender and to the closing. So keep that in mind. You do want to work with a seasoned local agent who knows other agent in the area as well. That would be a plus to you. The other plus that I think is important for you to understand is you need to understand the value of working with a local lender. A local lender means somebody who you actually physically shake their hand, you have seen them, you know who they are. And the reason being is this: when you have your offer sitting on the same table with 6 or 7 or 10 or 20 other offers, the listing agent will pick up the phone and call that loan agent and the lender. They want to make sure that the pre-approval is valid. It has its own merit and it makes sense what they put on a piece of paper. They will check on that, because at the end of the day, listing agent's job is to make sure that the best offer wins, the property, and it closes. The closing is the important part of this process. Do not forget. So therefore, when they say this offer is the offer they're going to go with, they want to make sure that it really closes as well. So imagine that you are the winning bid, or at least potential winning bid, and the listing agent picks up the phone and the lender is in another state, is an online broker or something like this. They can catch them on the phone and it goes to a voicemail or something like this. I promise you, the listing agent will move on to the next offer. They don't have the time to spend on that. However, at the same time, if you're working with a local loan officer, the fact is that the listing agent might know them. And that's a plus to you, because they might have worked with them in the past, and that's a plus, because they trust them, There is a business relationship going on, and therefore you do have an edge when you work with local realtors, local agent, and a local loan agent, okay? Having said that, let's move on to the other winning pieces of this equation that is important for you to understand and know. There are certain provisions in a contract as a buyer that you can exercise. However, since the pandemic and even before that, because we have been faced with low inventory in the Bay Area and regionally, more or less, buyers have to give up some of the provisions in order to be a competing offer as part of a multiple offer situation. So those are just, basically you have to have your pre-approval, just basically waive your loan approval, loan contingency, waiving your inspection contingency and the appraisal contingency. It is possible that the property does not get appraised at the price that you put in your offer in, and this is something you have to discuss with your agent and totally be explained on that, what it means, who covers the difference between the appraisal and your offer price, your accepted offer price. So you should have all that conversation with your agent beforehand, before you just sign, DocuSign all these documents. So, and that's part of your agent's job, or his due diligence, a good job that he can do for you to explain these things, how they work. But this is the game plan. So you need to just, not to just, think about any of those contingencies, move forward, and also see if there are other concessions you can provide. For instance, sometimes your agent has to ask the listing agent, is there anything else you can offer to sweeten the deal? Most of the time, because of the inventory issues, the sellers who are selling the properties and you put an offer on that property, they are themselves actually in the market, because once the property is sold, they have to buy another property. So, and if they don't have enough money, then they need to stay in the property for interim, basically 20, 30, 40, 50 days as a rent back, and be able to find another property to move on to the next one and buy. So you can offer them actually a rent back as a concession, or something that would sweeten up the deal for them to stay in the property when the property is sold. So the property is yours, but you allow them to stay in the property while they're looking for another one. I will go into that section actually when I talk about sellers selling. So let's finish the buyer's portion here. So you need to give them a lot of concessions up front to be able to be a competing offer when you go into a multiple offer situation. Now, in order to be in the market as a seller and a buyer, because I have been asked this question a few times in different ways, I want to make it very simple. If you are a seller and you want to list your property because you're buying another property, so you want to make sure that you understand what you're dealing with. The scarcity in the market actually stipulates your actions in terms of what you're going to do in the next couple of months if you're listing now and buying another property. In a simple way, the best way is this. If you have the money for the down payment and the closing cost, you should buy first, and then when the transaction closes and you move into the new property, you will just put the other property for sale, meaning making it ready, staging it, listing it, okay? And the situation might mean that as a seller, you might not have enough down payment and closing costs to buy the property, but that's the process still. Still, you need to sell and buy. So what you can do is you put your property for sale, you do sell the property, however, you will ask for a rent back. The rent back allows you to stay in the property up to 20, 30, 50, or 60 days in the property while you're looking to buy another property. So that allows you to have the existing equity from the house that you just sold and use that towards your down payment and closing costs for the new property. Let me make that clear. When you sell your property and you're asking for rent back and you stay in the property is not yours. This is just a concession that is offered by the buyer, who is the new owner, to allow you to stay in the property for that many days. So meaning when it says 45 days, it means after the 45th day, you have to be out of there. Regardless if you bought a property, you rent it, or you move out, it has to happen. So it's not a condition. It is already actually a sold property that you were allowed to stay above and beyond like 20, 30, or 45 days or 60 days, okay? Now, if I haven't answered any other questions that you might have had and I got emails on them, please shoot me an email, call, or text. I'll be more than glad to get back to you. However, the bulk of the questions that I've received in the last 10 days because of my post on LinkedIn and YouTube, I think I address them in this setup here. So in this video. Again, I hope that all your offers come true, and if any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than glad to go over it with you and see what is the best edge you can have in the next couple months in the summertime that you get your offer accepted. Have a wonderful day. Wish you luck.